Hello, friends. Good morning. Welcome to the February 21st episode of the Bacon Bets podcast. Do you remember the month of January? Just a few short weeks ago, the hottest month of my betting career. February got off to a little bit of a rough start, but after the Super Bowl, I had my yearly week-long vacation after the Super Bowl. I thought, hey, I'll take a week off. I'll come back strong. And what happens? What happens? A potential reverse sweep. I will say I am recording this the night before because I got to stay up late anyway, so I'm just not going to try to go off 3 hours to wake up early to record. So as of right now when I'm recording this, Kansas and TCU still going. Kansas does have a slight lead. That's a commercial break right now, so you'll probably get my live reaction to the end of this game, but it's late in the game. But even if they win, 0-3 in the NHL, not good. Not good. Penguins outshot the Islanders by a million. Couldn't get it done. Connor Hellebuck had like 48 saves against the Rangers. That over didn't hit. Senators was my long shot play. They did only have one less shot than the Bruins, but of course they were going up against Linus Ullmark, who is by far the Vezina Trophy favorite. So rough night in the NHL. Hopefully we can cap this off with a Kansas win or cover. I guess I got him at 2 and a plus 2.5. But let's call it rust after a week off. We got to turn February around, or maybe we'll just go cold. Maybe you should just fade me until the end of February, and then March we'll maybe find a middle ground somewhere in between January and February. But we move on. We got a lot to get through. I'm gonna try to keep these episodes to around 15 minutes. It's gonna be tough today because not only do I have my best 4 bets for Tuesday night's action, I also got my breakdown and best bets for the Honda Classic, the PGA Tour event this week. An all-time shitty field, which is going to happen now that there are elevated events on the PGA Tour where all the top guys are going to play. The fact that we're coming off 2 back-to-back elevated events means almost none of them are playing this week. But that's going to happen. But actually, I don't even mind betting on the events that aren't stacked fields, because actually, if you want to hit a long shot, hit someone a little bit further down the odds list, now is the time to do it, because the stacked events, it seems to be in the world of golf that the top guys are now head and shoulders above the rest. Even if you look back to last year, a lot of chalk won tournaments. Maybe not the very top guy, but some guy within the top 5, top 10 of the odds list is usually winning the stacked field. So if you want to hit a big bet in golf, these are the kind of events you actually want to bet on. So I have my pick to win. I got top 10 and top 20 bet for that. So let's just start right there. We're already 3 minutes into it, so let's start with the Honda Classic. Now, I will say, if you want to handicap this event yourself, if you want to take a look at some stats on the PGA Tour website or Data Golf, I'll give you a few tips for the Honda Classic, which takes place at PGA National. This one is a little bit of a fun event to handicap. The reason being is that a lot of them is just like, oh, it's a ball striker's course, or oh, you got to drive the ball long. This is one of the rare courses where actually the number one key thing, it's pretty straightforward, but it's a little bit unique, is scrambling. You have to be able to bet on guys who save par, guys who are not going to give up a lot of strokes. So this is a very tough course. Actually, PGA National, in these stats I'm about to list off, are via at PGA Splits 101 on Twitter. Great follow if you bet on golf. He tweets a lot of great stuff. This PGA National is the toughest non-major course. An average score of plus 1.53. 15 water holes, 8 holes with approach hazards, most water balls of any course each of the past 3 years, highest double bogey or worse percentage on tour. So yeah, of course, it'd be good to have a guy who can drive the ball well, obviously to hit his irons well, to putt well. But the number one factor that we want are guys who aren't going to shoot themselves out of the tournament, guys who are just going to hit pars, guys who are going to be slow but steady throughout the entire event. And I will say, I'm not going to list off the whole thing here, but PJ Splits also tweeted this out. Like I said, go check him out on Twitter. Great follower for betting on golf. He listed out some trends, and I'm not a huge trends guy. They are kind of interesting when it comes to golf, though. But he lists out 7 trends. Like the first one is 14 of the last 14 winners had played in at least one previous Honda Classic. 11 of the last 13 winners had finished 17th or better at TPC Sawgrass, which is a bit of a similar course. But there are 5 golfers in the field who fit all 6 of these significant trends. Those 5 guys are Sungjae Im, Taylor Pendrith, Chris Kirk, Matt Kuchar, and Aaron Baddeley. Now, I saw this after I'd already placed my bet to win, but now I like my bet even more. So my pick to win this week's Honda Classic at 25-1. Old man Matt Kuchar. Who would have thought I'd be betting on Matt Kuchar to win an event in 2023? But this is the kind of course that he plays well at, because you just got to save par, slow and steady wins the race. And that's exactly what he is. And he's actually quietly had a very strong season so far. 3 top 10 finishes and 8 starts already this season. A solo 8th place last week at a stacked Genesis Invitational. Now in an event with a much, much, much weaker field. And now it can be a good time for him to take advantage of his form and grab a win. But the reason why I like Kuchar the most this week is he leads the tour this season in scrambling percentage and in sand to save percentage. He is scrambling for par 74.07% of the time. He doesn't hit a green regulation. He's also first in sand save percentage, getting up and down from the sand at a rate of 82.76%. Both best marks on the PGA Tour. Both things that will help him quite a bit. Slow and steady for Cooch this week. Also, everywhere else, he's playing pretty well. 16th in total strokes gained on tour. Obviously, he'd be like first, second, third, or fourth based on the current field. His lack of distance off the tee is not going to hurt him at PGA National. I would say if there's one thing that would detract me from Matt Kuchar this week, it's that he hasn't played in this event since all the way back in 2011. So he has played it, but it's been a long time since he has. That might be the only thing that, is a bit of a detractor for him, but it doesn't really matter. I think the rest of his game and his form fits this course to perfection. So I like Matt Kuchar to win 25-1. Now, I will say for my top 10 and top 20 bets, and I actually got a question on Twitter about this week, because you got to be careful where you're betting on top 10 and top 20s, because some books, specifically I know DraftKings for sure, and I actually think most of them do this, is that dead heat rules apply. So last week was a perfect example. I bet Tommy Fleetwood to finish in the top 20. He finished T20. If you bet it at most books, then you probably only got a small payout because he was tied with a bunch of guys. I specifically bet, and this is not a sponsor or an ad, I specifically bet top 10 and top 20 at BetMGM because all ties are paid out in full. So for my Tommy Fleetwood bet last week, even though he's T20, I still got paid out in full. Now, what you're going to see is at BetMGM, the odds aren't going to be as long as they will at DraftKings, but you have that caveat of even if they're tied for a top 10 or top 20, you will still get paid out in full. And I think that it's well worth the small price difference that you're going to see. So with that being said, as of Monday night, BetMGM has not posted top 10 and top 20 odds. Sportsbooks are very slow this week in posting odds. FanDuel hasn't posted any odds yet for the Honda Classic as of right before I recorded this. So I have odds from PointsBet, but I believe those are dead heat rules apply as well. So these are going to be the odds that I'm going to bet are, and they're going to be a little bit shorter. I'll tweet out what the actual odds are for these top 10 and top 20 bets when I actually place them. Speaking of Tommy Fleetwood, I'll go with a fellow Englishman for my top 10 bet this week. Danny Willett, top 10. Remember the first event of the season? Yeah, he had to two putt from 6 feet to beat Max Homa, and he 3-putt and lost. Didn't even go to a playoff. But I'll take him to finish in the top 10. The points bet odds were plus 550, so I'm guessing the BetMGM odds are probably going to be around 4-1, 5-1. But this is another guy who does a great job of not shooting himself in the foot. 5th on tour heading into this event in scrambling percentage at 70.06. 12th in strokes gained putting. Putting is obviously huge in terms of saving par and not shooting yourself out of a tournament. And also, he is coming into the tournament great form as well. T18 at the Genesis Invitational last week. And I'll say the same thing that I said about Cooch. If you can do that well in a stacked field, then you're going to be licking your chops looking at the field that you're playing in this week. So, Danny Willett is my top 10 bet. My top 20 bet's going to be a long shot here. I like Austin Cook to finish in the top 20. Points bet odds were plus 650, so it's probably going to be more like plus 550, maybe 6-1 at BetMGM where all ties are paid out. Now, he does struggle off the tee. Austin Cook does, and he struggles with putting. But he ranks 33rd in strokes gained approach, and hopefully that will be able to separate himself from the pack a little bit when it comes to this weak field. Also, he also does a great job in scrambling. I would not bet on any golfer who ranks low in stats like bogey, avoidance, or scrambling percentage. Austin Cook coming into this week, 29th in scrambling percentage at 66.19%, 41st in sand save percentage at 57.45%. So I think as long as he doesn't completely blow it off the tee, which is a bit of a concern because if you're this bad off the tee, you might be finding water. But you want a long shot just to even finish in the top 10. Like I said, it's probably going to be around plus 550, 6-1 odds when you're looking at all ties are paid out in full at BetMGM. I like Austin Cook. So there you go for the Honda Classic. Matt Kuchar to win 25-1, Danny Willett top 10, and Austin Cook top 10. Bet on guys who scramble well and who can avoid bogeys, because those are the guys who are going to stick around and at least be in the mix a little bit on the weekend. So there you have it. That's my breakdown for the Honda Classic. I also got picks for Tuesday night, 3 in the NHL. Hopefully I can bounce back from an 0-3 night, and 1 in college basketball in the A10, the Atlantic 10. So quick break. Be right back in just a moment. All right, here we go. And by the way, update. Kansas TCU. Kansas up 1, 6.5 minutes left to save me from the reverse sweep in my first day back from betting. There's a basket, 3-point lead. Okay, we'll see how that goes. 3 in the NHL tonight, or I guess Tuesday night. Tonight by the time we're watching this. 1 in college basketball. A lot of big matchups, but it's an A10 matchup that I actually like for my best bet in college basketball. Let's knock NHL out of the way first. Let's come back from the 0-3 night on Monday night. Let's start with a total. Let's go under. I'm going to go under 6 between the Red Wings and the Capitals in this one. This handicap's pretty straightforward, by the way. I got it at even money at BetMGM. I would play it to minus 115 here. Red Wings last in the NHL in expected goals for per game over their last 10. Also last in high danger scoring chances created. So their offensive output from an advanced analytics standpoint, absolutely terrible. And then the Capitals' offensive output from an actual goals perspective has also been terrible over their last 10 games. 31st in actual goals per game over their last 10, only averaging 1.98. And obviously, a big reason for that is they've been a terrible shooting team lately. 30th in shooting percentage at 6.64 over that stretch. So you got one team that's not creating any chances and the other team that's not taking advantage of any chances that they do create. I think that kind of leads to an under. Also, Ville Husso, 919 save percentage for the Red Wings in the month of February. Obviously, don't know if he's going to start tonight. Only a couple of goalies confirmed for Tuesday night as of when I'm recording this. So I like the Red Wings Capitals under 6 at even money. I would play it to minus 115. Bias pick coming up. Bias alert, bias alert, bias alert. Maple Leafs minus 155 against the Buffalo Sabres. Maple Leafs have been hot lately. Maybe not the best record, especially when you look at the fact that they lost to the Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets both within the last week. But the Maple Leafs have a bad habit of when they play the worst teams in the NHL, they play down to the competition. I think the Coyotes are something like 8-2 against the Leafs in the last 10 games or something stupid like that. But the Sabres aren't that. The Sabres are a very frisky team, and the Maple Leafs have the highest expected goals percentage over their last 10 games in the NHL. They have an expected goal differential per game of plus 1.2. They actually are sneakily playing some of the best hockey in the NHL. Also, don't forget that they got Ryan O'Reilly in the lineup for the Leafs. He's only going to get better for them as the games go on here over the next few weeks. We don't know who's going to be in net for the Sabres because they have 3 different guys they could go to. Who's that? The Uko Luku guy? Or Eric Comrie, Frederick Anderson. Who knows? But whoever is in net for them, because over the last 3 games, has been a different guy every game, they're going to suck because their entire team sucks when it comes to goalies. That's why they keep switching between them, because they all stink. Team save percentage of 89.07% over their last 10 games. And that is not good when you have to play against an offense as potent as my Toronto Maple Leafs. Also, Sabres have not been good at home this season, at least from a record perspective. 11-14-2 at home this season compared to 17-8-2. So I like the Maple Leafs on the money line. Minus 155, I'd play it up to minus 165, maybe 170, but probably around minus 165 to be safe. If you want to get more aggressive, obviously, the 3-way money line for them to win in regulation and the puck line is available for you as well. Final NHL play of the night. It's a team total, which is something I think I might start taking a look at a little bit more here. I think it's only my second one of the entire season I'm betting, but I'm going to take the Blackhawks team total under 2.5 minus 137 against the Vegas Golden Knights. I would play this up to minus 145. Pretty straightforward handicap here. The Golden Knights have been the best defensive team in the NHL over their last 10 games. Expected goals against of 2.5 per game over that stretch. That's the best mark in the NHL. Actual goals against of 2.37 over that stretch. That is the third best mark in the NHL, and the Blackhawks have been struggling offensively for the most part. 29th in expected goals for, 30th in high danger scoring chances created over that same stretch. Now, one of the few confirmed goaltenders that we have for Tuesday night is Laurent Brossoit, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, a little French twist to it. He is confirmed to play for the Golden Knights on Tuesday night, and he has a 222 goals against average and a 919 save percentage and 5 stars this month. Two very good marks. So we got the best defensive team as of late with a hot goaltender going up against one of the worst offensive teams in the NHL. So I'll take Blackhawks team total under 2.5. Minus 137, play it up to minus 145. Let's get into college basketball. My best college basketball bet for Tuesday night. 8-10 action, as I said. I'm going to take the underdog here, St. Joseph's, plus 4.5 against VCU. I have a sneaky suspicion that actually by the time we're listening to this, you might actually get a better line on this. I think we're going to see some money come in on VCU. But I would play this, if it does move the other direction, I would play this to plus 3.5. I think these two teams are a lot closer than the odds indicate. I think the stylistic advantage actually leans towards St. Joseph's. But before we even get in the stylistic advantage, let's just talk effective field goal percentage. Let's just talk shooting. VCU 162nd in effective field goal percentage. St. Joseph's 198th. So not a huge difference there. But VCU's effective field goal percentage drops off 6.1% on the road compared to at home. St. Joseph's effective field goal percentage goes up 6.4% at home compared to on the road. So actually, if you look at the fact that St. Joseph's at home compared to VCU being on the road, St. Joseph's might actually be the better shooting team this season. Also, you may know this already, St. Joseph's is a 3-point shooting team. They rank 33rd in the country in 3-point shot rate. That is the weakness of this VCU team. They're very stout defense down low interior, but on the perimeter, you can kind of get to them. 127th in opponent 3-point field goal percentage this season. And finally, the Rams have a big turnover problem this year that has kind of haunted them to an extent all season. It's also, in my opinion, something that's going to hurt a team when covering a spread on the road against a conference opponent. 320th in the country in turnovers per possession, coughing up the ball, and 20.3% of their possessions. So I will take the points with St. Joseph's. I got them at plus 4.5. I'd take them at plus 3.5. I would guess, I mean, I could be dead wrong. I would guess by the time we're listening to this, they're going to be a plus 5, plus 5.5. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll get a good number on this no matter what. I got CLV all over the place in the NHL tonight on Monday night, and it didn't help me at all. So at the end of the day, maybe CLV isn't the most important thing. Or maybe it is. I don't know what I'm talking about. There you go. Those are my best bets for today. The Honda Classic, which does tee off Thursday morning, but don't forget it is an Eastern time zone event there in Florida, so you got to get those bets in. Unless you wake up first thing Thursday morning, you got to place these bets by Wednesday night. Matt Kuchar to win, 25-1. Danny Willett, top 10. Austin Cook, top 20. And then Tuesday night, Red Wings Capitals under 6, plus 100, played a minus 115. Maple Leafs minus 155 against the Sabres. Blackhawks team total under 2.5, minus 137. And St. Joseph's plus 4.5 against VCU. There you have it, 2 days in a row. The new format for the Bacon Bets podcast. Just like I said yesterday, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Please like it. If you're not watching this on YouTube, then rate it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to it, and then go to YouTube and then subscribe and then like all those good things. Best of luck to all your bets. If you decide to fade me because I've been cold, wouldn't blame you. Just don't be a dick about it. How about that? Good luck to all your bets. Gamble or bless. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.